Kobe Bryant has passed away at the age of 41. One of the greatest players in NBA history, one of the most impactful superstars the world has ever seen, not just with his incredible talent but his charisma, and a player who every NBA player today looked up to while growing up. This was an absolute tragedy. Prayers go out to him and his family, his daughter Gianna, and the other passengers on the helicopter who were also killed. In this video, we're gonna go back in history and take a look at some of the greatest stories, some of the greatest moments of Kobe Bryant's NBA career. Moments that not only turned him into the player he eventually became, but also stories that show why Kobe is so revered, and why so many people admire him. From his relentless work ethic to his chilling confidence, at times Kobe was quite polarizing. But nobody could deny how hard he worked, and how much he had to work to get to where he was. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. December 17th, 1996. For the first time of his career, Kobe would face off against Michael Jordan. Despite Kobe being a rookie and averaging about 7 points a game, this matchup drew in a ton of headlines, and a ton of fans around the world were eager to watch him go head-to-head. The matchup itself was symbolic, almost like handing over the torch from one legendary shooting guard to another. By the end of the game, Kobe finished the game playing 10 minutes and scoring just 5 points. MJ scored 30 points but only shot 10 of 32 from the field. While Kobe did not defend him all the time, he did not back down when he was on the court. After the game, he said, "My father taught me when I was growing up, don't back down from any man. He's fired up, you get fired up, go blow to blow. Whenever I have the chance to guard Michael Jordan, I want to guard him, I want him, the ultimate challenge." Back then, as an 18-year-old, he was already deemed as the next Michael Jordan before even becoming a star. But by the end of his career, even through all of the comparisons, which was something he himself did not like that much, it turns out he would not be the next Michael Jordan. He's the first Kobe Bryant. June 4th, 2000. The 1999-2000 LA Lakers were the most dominant team in the league, finishing with 67 wins and the best record in the entire league. Despite the struggles in the last few years in the playoffs, this time the Lakers were ready. They were prepared. Now that Kobe has become a legit superstar, there was nothing stopping them. However, in the conference finals, they would meet the Portland Trail Blazers, and this proved to be a difficult test. In Game 7, at one point, the Lakers were down by 16 points in the fourth quarter. But they came back, all the way back. The most memorable moment of that comeback was this play, which I'm sure you've all seen before. This alley-oop capped off this comeback, one of the greatest, most iconic plays in NBA history. The Lakers would go on to win Game 7, then move on to the finals, where Kobe had another spectacular series. Kobe and Shaq would win the first championships of their careers. A year later, in 2001, we saw the Lakers win back-to-back titles. However, this championship was notable for this photo. A photo of Kobe holding the trophy, but he was kind of upset. What happened was, despite all the excitement of winning the championship, Kobe was seen crying in the locker room. He recently had a falling out with his parents, especially his father. When it was time to get married, his parents really disapproved of him marrying Vanessa. They disapproved of the marriage so much that they didn't even attend Kobe's wedding. And then during the NBA Finals, his parents, who usually attend his games, were nowhere to be seen. All the joy of winning the title got drowned out. June 12th, 2002, Kobe's first three-peat. The 2002 Western Conference playoffs will always be marred by the controversial series between the Lakers and Kings. There's quite a bit of evidence that the refs were favoring one team over the other, and it became the center of debate in the Tim Donaghy scandal years later. Regardless, we can't rewrite history, and the Lakers would go on to sweep the Nets in the finals. Kobe would capture his third championship by the age of 23. However, what seemed like a great accomplishment would soon be marred by a feud that spanned for years. Despite the Lakers' success, it would soon come crashing down, as Kobe and Shaq's relationship would come to a screeching halt, as Shaq would get traded and neither of them would talk to each other for over a year. Next up, the entire 2005 to 2006 season. From an individual standpoint, this was the greatest season of Kobe's career. He averaged a career-high 35 points a game, while carrying an absolutely awful Lakers team, a team that had guys like Smush Parker, Kwame Brown, and Chris Mim all in the starting lineup. Kobe still managed to carry this team into the playoffs in the ridiculously stacked Western Conference. Throughout the year, he had some crazy games too. On December 20th, 2005, in a game against the Dallas Mavericks, Kobe scored a ridiculous 62 points through 3 quarters of play. He literally outscored the entire Mavericks team, which scored only 61 points. Kobe would then sit out the entire fourth quarter. Then, about a month later, he would score 81 points against the Toronto Raptors. In this game, the Lakers needed Kobe in for the entire game, as the Lakers were down by a lot, but they came back, with Kobe willing them to victory. His 81 points would be the second most points ever scored in a game, behind Wilt's 100. Kobe's had a lot of iconic moments throughout his career, but this 81-point game is probably the most well-known. However, it did not stop there. His rampage would continue into the following season. In March of 2007, for the entire month, Kobe averaged over 40 points a game. In a one-week stretch from March 16th to March 23rd, Kobe played 4 games. In those games, he scored 65 points, 50 points, 60 points, and then 50 points. In that 1 week, he averaged 56 points a game on over 50% from the field and 51% from 3, and all while taking 36 shots per game. It was arguably the greatest single-week performance in the history of the NBA. Absolutely ridiculous. These years from 2005 to 2007-ish were when Kobe was at his absolute peak. But unfortunately, the rest of the Lakers roster was complete garbage. That would soon change. The 2007-8 season saw the Lakers reach the finals once again, now equipped with a more seasoned roster, and the arrival of Pau Gasol greatly filled their need in the paint. Even though the Lakers would ultimately lose to the Celtics in the finals, this was the year of Kobe. He would win his first ever MVP, and in the 2008 Olympics, he would be designated as the leader of a young team that was eager for redemption. Kobe carried Team USA in the gold medal game against Spain, where he scored 13 points in the fourth quarter alone. This would also be the first Olympic gold medal of Kobe's career, the second of which came in 2012, as he marked his territory on the international stage. The next 2 years saw the Lakers win back-to-back championships in 2009 and 2010. Not only were the Lakers back on top of the world, it meant way more to Kobe than anybody else. Through the last few years, criticisms of his game were all over the news. Critics accused him of being too selfish, too inefficient, and that he takes too many ill-advised shots, and that he doesn't care about his teammates. For years and years, Kobe had to endure all of that. All of the doubters who did not believe he could win a title without Shaq. But in 2009, and especially 2010, he got vindicated. All those questions were thrown out the window, and Kobe's legacy became greater than it's ever been before. Not only that, but he was able to defeat the Celtics, the team that sent him home 2 years prior. Kobe has stated before that this was, by far, his favorite championship. It was also a total team effort, as Kobe had his struggles throughout the series, but this time, his team always had his back. Following the Game 7 victory, Kobe said, "This one is by far the sweetest, because it's them. This was the hardest one by far. I wanted it so bad, and sometimes when you want it so bad, it slips away from you. My guys picked me up." In the years following 2010, the Lakers would make the playoffs a couple of more times, but they would not be able to get back to the finals. Their last chance was in the 2012-13 season, the year when they attempted to form a super team. However, throughout that entire year, it was plagued with injuries and they could not develop any chemistry. To cap it all off, the season ended in the most horrific way possible, a devastating Achilles tear for Kobe. Even after the injury, he still mustered up enough strength to walk to the free throw line and take his free throws. Unfortunately, despite having a phenomenal season, that Achilles tear would essentially end his career. This would be the last time that Kobe and the Lakers had a chance to make a playoff run, as he would spend his last few years recovering as the Lakers started to rebuild. Regardless, Kobe would still finish his career in spectacular fashion. In his last game ever, he dropped 60 points, the most points for any player in their last NBA game. He put on a full display of everything we've come to know him for, and for one game, he looked like the Kobe that we used to know. Fast forward a couple years later, and during retirement, Kobe won an Oscar for his short animated film, Dear Basketball. Another couple years later, and Kobe would be gone. Kobe was also about to get nominated into the Hall of Fame this year. But now, we won't get to hear his speech. We won't get to see him continue to influence and support the young players in the NBA today. We won't get to see him continue coaching his daughters. We won't see him cheering and applauding from the crowd or attending playoff games or Lakers games or anything anymore. 41 years old, that's just way too young. Anyway, that's all folks. That sums up the greatest moments and greatest stories of Kobe Bryant's NBA career. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Which is your favorite moment? Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you next time.